Welcome to Serendipity's stream of consciousness, and today I'm posting my queer story and several parts, but it's going to be put in all one video. I know it's been quite a while since I posted on here on the podcast, but I posted these videos back in April of 2024, and so yeah. Here's the next episode. Hope you enjoy. Okay, sometimes life is weird. So this, you could go back and watch this video that I stitched with my friend, but they said something that I was like, wow, for some reason I thought I was like the only one who felt this way, because I mean, I know now that I'm not, but like there are certain things that I experienced that is like the only person that like it's very rare, like my shadow thing. I know only one other person in person who experiences that, and so I'm like, so I'll never find somebody else who experiences that. But I keep trying to figure out what triggers it. But anyways, that's not what this is about. This is about like queerness. This will be my story, I guess, about it. I was trying to stitch this, and then it was like taking forever to load, and then I was like, I'll just do this other video, and then it pops up. I'm like, okay, TikTok, make up your mind. No, but okay. Mine started, like, I think I always knew I might have been like into girls, but the way I was raised, and I mean, I'm a millennial, I'm 36, okay? Like, it wasn't like the representation now, which I'm grateful that there is. Like, I'm really grateful for it. But back then, in the 90s and stuff, it was either gay or straight. And so that's what I heard about. Like, I didn't know. I did hear about bisexuality, but then I was like, I don't know what that means, like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think I could be that. It didn't register. It was weird. Like, I don't know. My brain was probably like my autistic brain that I didn't know I had at the time or whatever. Just was like, oh, I can't be that. I have to be gay or straight. And I don't know. My brain just didn't register it. I don't know. But when I was 13, I believe I had my first girl crush. I believe I did. I was in a mental hospital at the time, and her and I were best friends, and I had these weird feelings that I don't understand, because like she went to a visit with her family, and then when she came back, we were all making cards, and she made me one, and she was like, and it said thinking of you, and that gave me a weird feeling, and I was like, what is this? But I didn't do anything about it, and didn't like, nothing really came up until after I was like, and I would think about women parts more than men parts as a teenager. Like, I don't know why. Like, I do now, but like, I don't know. It's funny. It's just kind of like vulnerable, I guess. And then when I guess probably because my ex-stepmother, who is actually gay, a lesbian, and has struggled with it, I guess, her own identity and accepting it, probably. Because she was with a woman for 5 years before my dad, and then like was with him for 20 years, and then like only been with women after. But she'd always be like, well, this person's gay, I can tell. And I don't know, I couldn't tell if she was like okay with it or whatever. Like they got into Christianity, her and my dad, because of me, I guess, because like I was in this group or whatever. And then like they were like, we gotta find our own church, and then they wouldn't come to my church that I had, and I'm like, okay. Anyways, so you see all the confusion. So at first, like, along with that, like she was like, self-play is, you get what I'm saying, is fine. And then like later on, because I was confused and had so much weird shame about that, because then later on she's like, that's a sin. And so I'm like, okay, so I had to unpack all that. And then like I felt like, because like Christianity, the ones that we went back then, the church we went to, I don't know, I don't know if they were accepting of gays or not, but like it just felt like maybe I was probably picking up on my ex stepmother's unacceptance of herself. So it was just, and okay, I remembered it. My dad also said, I always forget that. I don't know why, but it's like very pivotal and very like important, and it's a very important reason why I feel this way. Felt this way. I had struggled with my sexuality for a long time. My dad, when I was like a preteen, I was like junior high, I guess, almost 6th grade, something like that. He was talking about an experience he had with his cousin, and like his cousin was like, let's experiment, basically, when they're kids, they're both males, and my dad was like, no, it's a sin, so like that, I always forget that, hey, that's probably really the big thing where like my dad said it was a sin, so I can't be. And so like when I realized I was, when I was like, it was after my first marriage, although like when I got married when I was 19, or like, yeah, 19, yeah, and then I turned 20 that year. It didn't last, obviously, but because I was young and we were not right for each other, and it was kind of abusive. Anyways, I met a girl that I worked with, and she was talking about her and her girlfriends, her friends, they were just girls. They would get drunk at bars and like just make out for fun. And I was like, wait, I kind of want to do that. I want to make out with a girl. And like, it was just, I don't know why I didn't think about it sooner. I mean, there was times like when I was 18, when I was with my first, the guy that took my B card. That wasn't I? Yeah, I was with him. Or maybe after, or maybe whatever. But anyways, like I went to this when I was like 18, and I was with this other girl. She was in AA or whatever she was supposed to be. Went to this like, it was an AA prom or something, and like there was this girl there that was all over me, and I don't know why I didn't do anything about it. Yeah, I was with my ex at the time. Yeah, anyways, and then like when I realized that I was into girls, I was like, man, I wish I could find that girl, or I wish I would known back then, because then I don't know, I could have experimented or whatever and figured it out somewhat. It was just weird, like, not weird, but like, it was a long road. But yeah, when I met that other girl that I worked with, I was like 20, I want to say, yeah, 20, because I was 20, because by the time I was back in Kansas from North Carolina, because that's where I lived, it was like I was 21 not like, yeah, so like I got married in 2007 in March, and then I was back home in 2007 in November. So yeah, I was 20. Well, closer to home. And so the light in there is flickering. And I made the bathroom light flicker last night when I was in the shower. Yeah, anyways, this is a long ass story. And I might need a part 2 to it. It's fine though. Anyways, I'm gonna try to speed it up. Wow. I can't. Look, I don't know why I can't zoom in. I think it stopped. No, you can see it. You see it flickering. Distracting. Anyways, I didn't do anything with that friend. And I was married, so I was like, okay. But when I moved back to Kansas, and I lived with my mom, and then like I had this friend that I went to school with, and she was like talking about it, and she's like, you don't want to hear about the stuff that I've done, and I was like, actually I do, I'm curious. I don't know. And then like I realized, okay, this is how I'm finding out that I am into girls, and it's okay. And then like, but if I was still scared because like, it's a sin, like my dad, and so like whenever I would kiss them, like, let me make another one, just hold on. Okay, this is part 2 of my queer story. Yeah, I got to the point where I was, I realized I was bi. I did identify as bisexual now I am pansexual because it's more like it just feels more right to me. But anyways, fucking light. That light's gonna distract me again. Happy's looking at it too. She's just like, what in the fuck? Anyways, because next, a friend that I went to school with, my nose is really itchy. Sorry. Was talking about her experiences, and then I was like, wait, yeah. But anyways, like, there was a girl that my mom we worked with. She was the night auditor at the motel that we both worked at. And she's like, well, she has a sister who's into girls, so maybe you guys can, hang out or whatever. Because, like, the first person I told, aside from my friend, was my mom, and she's like, cool. That was like, that's how parents should respond, They should be like, alright, cool. And so then my mom was the one who was like, well, she has a sister who is into girls, so, like, So then that was my first girlfriend, that night out her sister, and she took it slow. Like, it was really good. It was like, we were mostly friends first, like, so, like, every Thursday we would spend time together. And at the time, yeah, I was with my son's dad, and he was fine with it. Like, it was like an open thing, like, or like thing for me. But I think I found out later that he was trying to get involved, I don't know, like, by my mom's ex. But that was like when we moved from, yeah, because we all lived in Topeka at the time, and then my mom and her man moved to Manhattan, and then, anyways, that's later. Doesn't matter. It's part of the story, I guess, kind of, but I get a little sidetracked. Anyways, so yeah, we'd hang out every Thursday night and watch, like, stuff like a movie, or, like, I remember mostly, okay, we watched Librarian, I think it is, and Doctor Who. I think we might have watched that, but I know I've watched it with my son's dad, so anyway. But then we also watched the Vampire Diaries, yeah, like then. But that was back before it was like cool, I guess. I don't know. But most of the time we talked throughout it. And, like, there are times we drink. I was pregnant with my son at the time, but I was like, it's supposed to be safe to have one drink. But, like, that's the only pregnancy I did that. Because the other ones I was like, whoa, why? I can't even believe I even thought that was okay. I was young. But my son's fine, he was fine. But still, I still feel kind of bad. Like, I still feel bad, like, I can't believe they thought that was okay. Like, I can't believe they even say that it's okay. As you know, there's drug companies, or, like, medicines that are, like, supposed to be safe to take while you're pregnant, but then they always come out with, no, you're not getting up here. They always come out with these commercials for the birth defects and stuff. So, like, actually there was one that they tried to put me on Zoloft when I was pregnant. I was like, I'm not taking it because I just have this feeling. And then, like, a few years later, there is a commercial of Recall or whatever commercial, or whatever the frick it's called. Anyways, sidetrack. Sorry. Hello. Anyways, like, yeah, me and my first girlfriend we were mostly friends, and then, like, we'd kiss not too often, but, like, at the end of every night. But, like, the first time I was, like, shaking so bad because I was, like, deprogramming that fear of I'm going to hell because this is a sin, It was a long deprogramming. I didn't experience that with guys because, oh, you're straight you're not going to hell for that, like, stuff like that. And then later, and then, like, I had another girlfriend after that. It wasn't until, yeah, that was 2008. It wasn't until in 2009 when we moved to Manhattan. I did meet another girl, and we had a deep connection. And then she was the one that, like, went down on me the first, and then, like, have got like, there was, like, 3 other guys that did that. And I was like, I don't see the point in this. This doesn't give me any damn enjoyment. But when the first girl did, I was like, Oh, that's what that's supposed to feel like. I didn't have a chance to do it back to her. I mean, we were both drinking. We were both. It was Halloween of 2009. It was a Halloween party, and I guess like at that party, she's like, "This is the girl I was telling all you about." Like she had been talking to me about me to her friends. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh my god," and like, and before I'm pretty sure we both were gonna fall in love with each other, but like before that happened, I think she got scared and like just backed away, and so like then I don't think I could get, like, it was hard for me to get close to girls. You know, I'd get scared too, and I don't know. So like the one that I did love, or like I think it's just more, it was a trauma bond, was my ex that I was like off and on with in 2012, at the end of 2012 till 2014. And then again, like in 2020, we tried, and she was married to somebody else because her first husband didn't like me. Hold on, my neighbors are really distracting. I think the police are there. Oh, it doesn't matter. So that other girl, we were friends after that still, the one that was my first. And then I didn't get to return the favor for her because of, you know, girl cycles. The cycle, I had just come off of mine and she was on hers. And I was drinking. So, like, then I, like, think back, and even when I did go down, which is one time in my whole entire life, I was drinking drunk, you know, and then, like, the other time that I tasted was I was drinking and drunk. And so I'm like, I don't even know if I could do that without that, but I mean, I would try it, but I'm, like, really picky, and it's hard to find women love women, you know, it's so hard, I don't know why, but also a lot of them like to play games and be like, if, and they think, I don't know what it is, it's just a lot of, it's ridiculous, but yeah, my friend whose video I stitched the first time was talking about they don't like the texture and stuff. I was like, I thought I was the only one. Like the texture is like, I have to be in love with someone anyways to even oh my god, it scared me. My cat jumped up there. To even go down. So I would be able to handle the texture, but like in general, like the texture of a vagina is like very like sensory hell kind of. Like it's like really like off-putting, and I thought I was the only one who felt that way. So I'm glad that like, and another person in their comments is a lesbian who feels that way too. So I'm like, okay. So it's not that it's not that it's, so we can still be like, okay, we love women, but like, or like all genders, but like, be a little scared of the vaginas. Yeah, anyway, so, yeah. I think I pretty much, talked about it, because like, even that night that I went down, I don't know, she was my girlfriend at the time, in 2014, October, I also used a toy on her, and she tried on me, but she didn't do a very good job, but I was like, I know what I'm doing with the toy and fingers, so that would be fine with me, like, I could toy and fingers all for you, but like, I don't know about my mouth, I don't know, and that's okay, because there are some men that don't like going down on women either, so like, that doesn't mean that they're not straight, or like into women, so like, I don't know why we didn't think, I don't know, I could make another one of these, because I do have more to add, I guess. Alright, yeah. Also, when I was with my first girlfriend, I realized I was polyamorous, so, yeah. But, one of my exes wasn't accepting of it, but I was like, okay, I gotta be true to myself. Eventually, I was like, either he loves me or like, whatever. Like, he's gonna have to deal with it. Because I can't just, I don't know. I can't just not have a girlfriend. So, like, and it wasn't just any girl, it was like one of my ex-best friends that I had when I was like 14, but we didn't go to school together. I would only see her when I'd visit my mom. So that was my longest girl relationship consecutively. Like it was like 4 months. I know that's pretty sad, but like, it's just how it was. And then, if we're going by longest off and on, that would be my one from 2012 to 2014, and then like, it's like actually it's 2012. Yeah. Anyways, like I stopped. I'm not friends with that person, and I stopped talking to them in 2020 because the they did the same shit where they would like, well, I'm gonna choose my husband. Like, the first time I was with her, she pursued me in 2012. I was actually kind of dating somebody else. It wasn't that serious, but it's like, it was just a title, I guess, because like that person didn't talk to me that much. And then later, when I was married to my youngest daughter's dad, she did. And then she was always trying to get me to leave him because of his addiction, which I understand. She was looking out for me, but it's something people have to realize on their own. So, anyways, it's just weird. There was a bunch of off and ons, like, not a bunch, but like, if you understand queerness, if you're queer, you get it. You might get it, because like a lot of the time it's like that. It can be like that, but yeah, that other one that was 4 months long, was in 2012, and I would go see her and everything, and I hid it from my ex at the time, my oldest daughter's dad, but I eventually told him. Was like, okay, because and it's really strange, because it's kind of, that's how me and my twin got together, because like, it's just crazy how that worked. So it's like, I can't even judge him for it, because he already, like, his, just like both of us, we told both of the people that we were with, this is how we are, this is what we want to do, but then they're all like, you can't do it. We won't allow it, like, it's like, okay, well, then either you're gonna have to learn to allow it, or let us go, type thing. I don't know. It doesn't, I don't, that was my experience. So I was like, learn to, like, just, you're gonna have to accept it, or, I don't know, but, because I told you how many times I wanted, and then, like, wanted to have a girlfriend, and I'm not, I'm not monogamous, and at the time I wasn't open to sharing them, type thing, and I don't know. I am more open to it now. I had to work through a lot of my own insecurities and stuff, and like, not being in abusive relationships, but also like, I like his my oldest daughter's dad, his ex-wife had left some of her stuff with him. I don't know why. He was supposed to return it. I don't know, but I was like, this is weird to me. I'm throwing it all away. And at the time, I should have just... It was just all weird. But anyways, I read that his ex-wife was allowed a girlfriend, so I was like, okay. And that's literally what abusive, narcissistic people do. They be like, that type of shit. So, anyways, he didn't leave me or anything for it. But there was a time he almost did, because like, me and her went somewhere, because like, we all went this time, and me and her went out drinking, and then like, we didn't come back, or like, didn't tell him where we were really, and then like, it was only supposed to be for a bit. Like, I was supposed to go with her to meet a guy, and then like, not for me, but like, for her safety, because like, just in case he tried something, and he didn't even open the door, so like, it was like, I don't know, so that was like telling, I guess. So we ended up going to the bar she worked at, and then we didn't tell my ex, and so it was like on my part, but he kind of, in a way, I feel like he still overreacted, because he was like, he was like, I told you when we first got together that I wouldn't be changing your son's diapers and stuff, so it's like, and he had to, so it's like, yeah, it was just all bad. Anyways, Ah. Yeah, so that didn't end my relationship with her though. What ended it was like I met somebody closer and that was like more expressive because she didn't like express her feelings until she was drunk and she had an addiction. So like I don't know how she's doing. I don't talk to her anymore. But we tried it again off and on, like when I was with my best friend and stuff like that. And so like it was just I'm pretty sure it's because I also hurt her, you know, by because I was like I want to break up with you, and then like she was just like no, or she was like okay whatever, you know, and then she was like no, and it's like she was hurt, you know, like but she didn't express, like it was just not, it was, we were just better as friends, so we shouldn't have even dated, but at the same time it was supposed to happen. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that she was in love with me, but like it was just hard to tell, you know, like, and I loved her, but not like not in love. And for the longest, I didn't understand the difference, but like I do now. Like what? You know, like, but I get it. Like it's yeah. So many damn distractions over here. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I ended up leaving her for another girl, kind of, because like, well, yeah, because that one they were more expressive and everything, but I found out that she was like super toxic to like that was in 2012 still, in 2013 ish, stuff like I don't know. Anyways, like yeah, in 2012, it's the summer of that year, because it was like I was with my 4-month one for like February till March, April, like June, I guess. And then the other one over the summer for like maybe not even a month. Because like I would go visit and like she was just a mess. It's just, she would go crazy. And I found out like a couple years ago or a year ago or whatever it was, a couple years ago, that she passed away. I don't know. I wasn't talking to her then, so it's sad. I don't know how it happened, but she was younger than me. But yeah, anyways, it's so loud over here sometimes. And then that's when my 2004, 2000, you know, like my big ex-girlfriend or whatever, like the bigger, like the more, like the longer term one, which was like off and on. She pursued me at the end of 2012. I'm gonna get it. I feel like wearing my glasses. I don't know. This is part 4 of my queer story. I'll just announce it. Okay, the girlfriend that was like that pursued me at the end of 2012. We were in a women's group on Facebook, and I'll never do those again because it's I've talked about the reason why. But I was also pregnant with my first daughter at the time. Anyways, I have my blanket on me because this arm, I need something between my arm and me, just because like I don't know, I don't know why, because otherwise my elbow will dig into my side and it's not comfortable, and I have to have something. Anyways, she pursued me, and her husband didn't like me because he kind of just had begrudgingly accepted it, you know. So, but he didn't like me, and it's like, well, you should be mad at your wife, not me. But anyways, like I get it. But he just dealt with it, and we were both pregnant at the time, and so like, but then we'd fight, and then like she'd post stuff about, oh, it's a two-way street, because like I was still trying to adjust to it, you know, like I was kind of avoidant and she was anxiously attached. So I guess I've been disorganized, you know. I'm more of an insecure attachment now. but I was disorganized, so like I could be like either anxiously attached or avoidantly attached, and at the time I was avoidantly, and she was anxiously, so it didn't go well, and like I was still trying to be like fill it out, and it was like moving really fast, and I don't know, and she would just be like, why don't you like when I'm getting to know somebody at the beginning, there are times where like I won't, like, yeah, I'll see your message when I first wake up, but I won't reply for a while because I have to like get to that level of connection, you know what I'm saying? Like I did that to my twin. I did that to him. He was anxiously attached and I was avoidantly attached. Now it's more equal, balanced, energetically, because we don't have contact. Anyways, yeah. So she would be like upset that I wouldn't talk to her, like reply to her right away or something, and like she'd be like, it's a two-way street. But anyways, blah 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 blah. Talk about something else, and it's like, so like we'd fight a lot, and her pregnancy was high risk because I'm not sure why. I think she had placenta previa or something like that, and that's just where the placenta is in the wrong spot. Like, I think it's usually behind the baby, but it was in front of the baby. So, yeah, there was one time she almost lost. Like, she thought she was losing her daughter, and I was like, oh my god, you know, like, and so I was like, okay, I made the decision, like, since we were fighting a lot, I ended up just going completely to no contact and ghosting, because, like, I'm like, I don't want to be the cause of her stress, and we're not good for each other right now. Like, and I kept being afraid I was going to miscarry my daughter, because I didn't have any issues, but, like, I had met a couple that was, like, because we were going to try selling our mobile home that we lived in at the time, me and my ex, and I met a couple who miscarried or lost their baby at 18 weeks, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, it's all around me, like, I don't know, I was like, for both of us, and the health of our babies, I'm ghosting, and that's why. And yes, of course, like, she had abandonment issues already, so did I, but, like, that didn't help, and then, like, that kind of just set the tone to the whole thing, and I don't know. Like, with our relationship, she never got to really choose us. Like, she wouldn't. So I was always like, kind of like a side bitch. And that's, like, that's the type of polyamory that I'm used to. And that's not the way it's supposed to go. It's really because of my, like, like, if your romantic relationships don't bring out your childhood relationship traumas or whatever, on how you, like, your relationship with your parents and stuff or whatever, polyamory fucking will. And I'm telling you, it will on steroids. It'll be like, you're used to chasing your parents because they're always chasing their significant others instead of, you know, choosing you. And that was literally very apparent. And I'm still trying to break that. I think I broke it. I broke it. I broke that. But my mom hasn't quite broke it. And that's okay. She actually is with a good man. Anyways, I'm sorry. I am narrow spicy, so just that's why that happens. Anyways, where was I? Okay, yeah. Anyways, like, there was only, like, one time, like, in 2014, like, there was one time when we were, like, first time or the second time, because, like, it was, like, we had a short separation in 2013, and then, like, because we had made it official March 24th. I can't believe I just randomly remembered that date of 2013. Right? Yeah. And then it wasn't even a month. Because we were fighting too much and everything. And then, yeah, and then, like, eventually we talked again. And I don't know. I was always the one to reach out. Or find a way to unblock. Or, like, I'd unblock. And then, like, she would have me blocked, and then I would find a way to get around it, like, through a friend or something, like, I think. Like, or my other account that I would have, or, like, an ex's account. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but at the time, there was one time I was talking to this girl that was before I broke that other contact. The first time, the no contact thing. And she was always making some excuse why she couldn't see me or whatever. And just was terrible at holding a conversation. And then, like, even, like, was like, I'm in the hospital for renal failure. And I'm like, are you really, though? Like, I don't know. Anyways, like, that, it came up because, like, that renal failure thing came up because of my dream. It's 3:33 on my clock, on my, the time here. Anyways, then I was like, I broke contact, no contact or whatever, and I was like, does this sound right to you? She's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like she sounds like she's lying, but but she's like, I still love you, and I don't know, we were supposed to just be friends, and then, like, nothing else, and, like, we'd always be tempted, and kiss and stuff in secret. Just kiss. And then, like, in 2014 is when she was kind of, like, in her, like, rebellious stage, where, like, she didn't care, like, she was, like, kind of with her husband, but also with other dudes, too. It was a mess, and that's why she was like, yeah, I can come visit you, and I'm leaving my kids with him and everything. Like, she was finally like, I'm tired of fucking, you know, like, which is understandable. And the night that I actually experienced that, like, went down the first time, okay, wait, we'll back up. Her birthday's in September, so, okay, now that might give it away, but, like, if she's ever even watching this, I highly doubt it, doesn't matter. It could be anybody, you know, but, anyways, her birthday's in September, and she came to stay with me for that weekend. That was nice. Like, she stayed with me on the couch, because, like, I don't know, I could have just been like, told my ex, get out of the fucking, but I don't know if that would have, like, I felt bad, I don't know. But, like, when we were first dating, the first time we dated, we got a motel room, and, like, her man and her son was in one room, and me and her were in the other. And, like, we didn't, okay, like, the first time we dated, we were supposed to, like, date, but, like, we were allowed to date, but no sex. So, like, I don't know, it was weird, because her husband was like that, like, there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in polyamory, if it's, like, unhealthy and shit, that's what I'm saying, like, if you have unhealed childhood wounds, you're gonna have really, really unhealthy dynamics, and I did, and so, even in monogamy, okay, like, I had all kinds. Well, did I say this on this part 4, because I gotta make it up, yeah, is there... TikTok keeps putting sounds on it in the beginning and at the end. Like, bro, TikTok, we can throw hands if you'd like. This is part 5 of my queer story. Oh, okay, where was I? Okay, yeah, anyways, in 2014, yeah, we were able to do whatever we wanted, so, she came to visit me on her birthday weekend, and I didn't have much money, but that's the first time I ever got a pedicure, so we did pedicures, and then we stayed in the motel together, and she was on her cycle, so I didn't get to do anything like that, but she went down on me a lot, and I'm telling you, that was the best ever until, like, I think her and my twin are, like, my twin's definitely better. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. But, like, I was like, holy crap, you know? Because the finger and tongue combo is the best. Okay. But I don't always like it, and I'm always like, and a lot of times I'm like, when people are talking about it or say stuff like the terms, like, you know, the terms, and I'm like, so gross. Why do you have to, why is it the terms like that? It's gross. Like, that sounds disgusting. Like, the terms, dude, really? That's gross. You make it sound so disgusting. Which it can be if you have texture and stuff issues, but at the same time, like, in the heat of the moment, I don't know. I don't know how it'd be when I had without drinking. So I don't know, because the night that, I'll get to it, but her birthday was fun, you know, like, it was romantic. It's the first time not the only time. This is the first time I ever did this for somebody, but I never really had it in return. Like, my best friend did give me, like, probably was the most romantic person I was with. Because he would write me letters and notes and love letters and sometimes give me flowers, yeah, and like stuff like that, and like baths, and then yeah, so, but I never got the rose petals and stuff and candles like I did to her, which this is the first time I did that, and I put I heart you on them, and with the candle, and then like with the candles, the tea light candles on the bed, and then like all the rose petals, and then we had like champagne, well not champagne, but like cheap wine and a big old like, you know, some of the motels have the spa baths, and it was a spa bath, and I did think I played music and danced for her, and it was like that, and then she almost cried. I think she did cry, like almost cried with the romantic bed thing and everything. So like it was a good time. It was good. It was like, you know, I didn't really like her being with other dudes, all like, because I just like, I'm just like, I'm afraid, like, I don't know what other people have, but like in polyamory, that's why I trust in communication, like with any relationship, but like that's even more important in polyamory because and honesty, because you know, you gotta make sure everybody's being careful, you know what I'm saying, like whatever, but like, yeah, but it was good then, and then like and then like in October, when I actually was able to go down, I was hesitant, but like we went out to a bar together, and then like we're dirty dancing with a dude. That was fun, but nothing else happened, and then I think it was for like another friend's birthday. Yeah, so I just remembered that. And that was like the only time I met that person. I don't know. I just remembered that person. It's been a while since I remembered them. I don't talk to them anymore really. Like it was like one of those Facebook friends that are just on there. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, when you first get Facebook, you have all these friends that you never talk to or whatever, and it's like it feels weird to talk to them even though they're on your social media. Like, what is this? Why are these accounts? Why is it like that? Like, I always found it weird, but I'm like, I don't know why I added a bunch of people. I'm very picky now. I'm like, you're not getting on here. I block. I'm very friendly with the block button. Anyways, yeah, that night was the night, and then like I was unsure of it. I was like, I don't know if I am gonna be able to do this. And then like she's like, do it. Like she was like, she said, lick me or whatever. I don't know. Like it was just like, and anyway, so like I did, and I don't know. Like she said I was really good at it, but I don't know. I was like worried that I wouldn't be because like I don't know what I'm doing. Like yeah, I know what is nice, but like what feels nice, but like everybody's different, you know, so like I don't know, but there was no complaints, and there was no like noises, so you know, she did say I was good at it, so I don't know, I've never got a chance to try it again. I'm not sure if that'll ever happen, which is fine, because like I got my experience, it's fine. I'm pretty sure that me and my twin were both women in our past life. So, it's fine. It's literally fine. Like, I'm more of a sensual person anyways. I'd rather just have the cuddling and the kissing and like the touching, but like not like just sensual. Not like, you know, I'd rather have that. And it took me a while to get to the deprogramming of like just going from touching just straight to sex. With anybody really, like anybody I was with or whatever. So like when my best friend and I separated, we would only cuddle, and it helped us both deprogram that, because we couldn't, like I had a thing where like I wouldn't, like my guides, my spirit team was like, no, you're not having sex. So like it was like I needed to be celibate, and then anyway, so like yeah, that kind of catches up to where I'm at. Like, and then in 2020, 2019, 2020, the end of 2019, everything. My best friend, when I was married to him, he started questioning his gender and everything, and like he would dress as a woman and everything, and I'd never experienced that before. I was never transphobic. I just never experienced being in a relationship with somebody who was questioning. So it was like rough for both of us, and so like, but like just that we had to adjust. You know, we had to adjust, and like he started wanting to do all that stuff when we were having our miscarriage, and it was like, okay, so I felt like it kind of betrayed or like abandoned in a way, but at the same time, like we worked through it. And anyways, like that girlfriend and I, that I'm gonna just talk about, like we were together again in 2019, and I was like very avoidant because I don't know what happened in 2014. Oh, okay, she chose a dude over me. And the dude was like, I don't do that gay shit. He was homophobic, and so he made her break up with me. And then she ended up getting pregnant by him, and I guess getting an STD. I'm gonna make it. This is part 6 of my queer story. It's really windy outside, so if you hear, yeah, okay. 2014. My ex-girlfriend chose a dude over me, and then that really hurt, and I was happy for her that she was happy, but at the same time, it hurt, you know. And we were watching, I was like finishing up or like watching The Orange is the New Black, and like that probably helped, like them getting back together and reuniting in there made us feel the same feelings and stuff like that. So anyways, I was happy for her, but at the same time it hurt. And so like eventually I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell her how I felt. And then I was like, you've got me fucked up, like you did me wrong and everything. And I told her, and she's just like she would just flip it around on me and blah blah blah. And granted, I wasn't the best communicator. I was trying to be, but it was like I didn't know how to that well, but like I was doing my best to be like upfront and assertive about it, but not like mean, not like accusatory. But she still didn't take it that way, and then I was like, I made a post, bitch, fuck your happiness. And then like I don't know, I think she blocked me, and so we didn't talk again until like 2016, when I had to use a friend's account to message her, because like I had moved back to the town where she was, and I don't know, I just missed her, I guess, because that would what happened to us. We'd end up missing each other. But I guess she would, like later she told me, she's like, yeah, I would check your page and see that you're still up to the same shit. Like, me? You, bitch? Like if she was, I'm pretty sure she was like, I don't know, probably narcissistic or some shit, like just toxic in general. She still is, like even worse, because we became friends in 2016, and we were friends for a long time. But she was in a very abusive, like she ended up being in a very abusive relationship. No, not the one she's married to now. He's a good guy. Actually, she's abusive to him, probably partially because like I'm pretty sure it's like the unresolved trauma and shit that she had from her relationship before him. He was horrible to her. Like he would even beat her and everything. It was just bad. But we would have to sneak around, her and I, when she was with that abuser, and otherwise he would. Yeah. And in 2009, when she left him, 2019, we were together again, and then like I was very avoidant, because I was, from all of our trauma and shit, yeah. And then like I'm trying to remember, put it all together, yeah. But she wanted to be all cuddly and everything, and I was like, not, like, I was uncomfortable with it. I was trying to get comfortable with it, but I was like, you know, because like I was like, I don't know what kind of energetic crap she might have picked up from her ex, and I'm scared to be with her sexually again, you know. And so we never were. But it's like, that's when I started getting really picky about who I let touch me. So I was like, she was kind of a got around. So, which, that's fine, but like very irresponsible about it. In a very reckless way, let's just say. Like, it's fine if you're like, you be with a lot of people, but like, she was just very self-sabotaging and reckless about it. And which is understandable giving her trauma, but at the same time, it's not excusable. It's not my, it's just, this is part of my story, so like, that's just how it was. And I was like, I don't know if I want her to touch me, you know, like, and at the time I should have known and realized, well, at the time I didn't, but I do now, where like, if I'm like that with somebody, I shouldn't be dating them. So, like, that's kind of where I am with my best friend, so like, that's where we're just friends. And yeah, I'll like, it's nice to talk about stuff like that and just like, see how he still feels like that about me, but I have to, it's hard to break that pattern of relationship going from lovers to friends. So like, it's a very huge process. But anyways, I think she ended up blocking me because she came to visit me because I had moved back to Nebraska. In 2016 at the end, which I'm back here now again, but it's fine. And then, oh, my crown itches so bad. Well, my hair needs brushed, but that's why. Maybe. Partially why. But she came to visit me, and she never, like, she's got really bad anxiety with driving places she doesn't know, and in the snow and everything, so the fact that she did that was a huge step. And I'm glad that she did that, but like, I was like very like avoidant, and she felt neglected and abandoned, and like, she told her dad that, and then like, she got upset at me because like, me and my best friend and my kids were outside the next day playing, because it was actually nice out, because like, it was like one of the first nice days, and we were outside playing, and she's like, you act like you're glad that I'm gone. And it was just, I understand where she was coming from. And then, but we still fought, and I think that's when she blocked. We went no contact again, and then like, I think, yeah. And then later that year, I don't know, or maybe we broke up, because even online, like, she was moving really fast. Like, she even bought me a promise ring and was like, send it to me, and like, opened it on live, and then like, I didn't know how to react because I was very avoidant, and it was really pretty and really sweet of her, you know. It was just, we were never really like aligned. Like, it just was never balanced, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just never right, and we tried to make it, and it just wasn't. It was very karmic, you know. So but later that year, I think we did stop talking for a while now, because like, she started talking to her now husband, and she knew him. She went to school with him, but she dated him but then like, she left him because like, he had seizures then, epilepsy, and she was like embarrassed more, like kids, you know, like, she didn't want to get made fun of for being with somebody like that or whatever, and you know, and she's like not like that now, or she wasn't. Yeah, no, she's not, but she is like abusive to him. I'll tell you here in the next video. This one was part 6. Alright, this is part 7. Yeah, 7 of my queer story. Yeah, anyways, we started talking again, or I don't know, I can't remember if we stopped talking or, but yeah, when we did start talking again, I was thinking of cutting her off, you know, and then like, I kept seeing 777 when I thought about that. So I was supposed to, I guess. So I did. But I think we started talking again later in 2019. Yeah, like a little bit later. That wasn't a very long one. Some of our no contacts were like a couple years, and some of them were not, like a few months. So it was weird. So if people want to be like, yeah, some people might think, oh, that's when, like only twin flames do. No, like karmics and stuff can be very like off and on separations and separation periods and shit. It's weird. So that's why you have to be very discerning. Yeah. But twin flames are not toxic. Anyways, I'm not talking about that this time. But when we started talking again, me and her, it was before I was even pregnant. But like her and her husband were living in Kansas City, and we'd go, like, I started talking to her, and she was like, her husband was like, I don't want her to get hurt. He didn't want her to get hurt again, so like he was nervous, but then he was like, okay, And the whole time he was fine with her and I being together, but she was nervous about that. Like, she didn't want to disrespect him and everything, but like, I could feel that, but I didn't want to disrespect either, he was a good guy. And, yeah, and at the time, my husband at the time, which is my best friend now, was going through his gender questioning and stuff, because he never really had a safe space to do that. And, yeah, and then, like, I found out I was pregnant in November. I was trying to fucking ignore it. I was like, I know I am, but I don't want to acknowledge it. I don't want to be. So, like, when I had my miscarriage in December of 2019, she was there for me. She was actually, I'll give her that, like, she wasn't like toxic all the time, like, it's the childhood trauma, it's the trauma, like, whatever, but like, there were times she was like really great, like she was really there for me. She was at the time working at a clinic, like a OBGYN clinic. I think she was like the receptionist or something, and she was helping me through my miscarriage. She was like the only one that was helping me besides my best friend, who would stay home from work and stuff like that sometimes, and it was scary. And then every time after my cycle, when I would have my cycle after that, I would be like really bad anxiety, because I was like, am I gonna be heavy bleeding? And I wasn't really that heavy with my miscarriage, but one time I went leaked outside my pad, and that scared me, and people's worry. That's why I didn't talk much about it to anybody, because like other people, like, like the energy of worry can make it harder to heal. So I didn't talk much about it until after I was done healing. Like, I was through the worst of it or whatever, Anyways, then we didn't date until later. Like, we'd go visit. Like, the first time I went ice skating was there, and we lived here in Hastings, and we would go visit her in Kansas City when she had just first moved to Kansas City. Yeah, because like I saw her, like the reason why we started talking again is because like I looked up her address to send her something. I felt like I needed to, and I sent her like a crystal, and I had put my energy in it, and just like I felt like, okay, this is what happened. Yeah, I remember now. I had this friend that lived in New Zealand, and she was like give me readings about it, and that she wanted to talk to me, And then like I wanted to send her something, that crystal, and that's how I reached out to her, is through the mail. See, and so that's why this twin flame journey is hard for me, because like, I will reach out to him. Get down. I would reach out to him, but I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to wait, because like, for me, I'm like, they don't come back for me. I have to go chase them, It's like, no. They will. If it's right, they will. They will always come back to you, you know, like, I have to stay out of my masculine energy. Anyways, so it wasn't right, that's why, because, like, I would always be put in my masculine, and I'd have to go and be like, okay, break the no contact, you know, and reach out. So that's what I did, and her address was easy to find online, and I was like, I had to let her know, I was like, your address is easy, like, she got my letter, and she messaged me. That was when she was moving to Kansas City, but I was like, I don't know if you know this, but your address is really easy to find, like, and she had to escape her ex, like, it was bad, so that's why, I'm like, you need to make sure that's not seen online. And then anyways, that's how we started talking again. I remembered. I had forgotten, and then, you know, it came back up anyways. But yeah, she was in Kansas City, and, like, I'd go visit, and me and my best friend would go visit, and I'd get salads at Whole Foods, and it's the first time I knew I could get them, because that was before I, like, went a little lax on my eating. I was, like, completely organic and non-GMO, no meat or anything, but wasn't vegan, you know, so, like, but it was really hard to find stuff like that here. It still is, but I'm a little bit lax on it, where, like, I can eat certain things. Anyways, but it's a little bit easier this time. Anyways, when I was, like, 9 weeks pregnant, and I think it was November, I went to visit, and it was the first time I went ice skating. It was fun. I have pictures and videos of it. It was a lot of fun. My best friend was like, I can't do it. I'm gonna fall. So he just basically watched me for the most part. I want to go again, but that place was so beautiful. Yeah, anyways, me and her were best friends for a long time. For a while until, like, middle of 2020-ish. And then, like, she came to visit me in Topeka when we moved back to Topeka for my husband at the time's mom and stuff. And then, like, I had another friend. Oh yeah, she came there when I had my roommate, I think, and she had to stay in the other room. Anyways, yeah. And then we were taking her back to Kansas City. Me and her were holding hands in the back, and it's like the spark came back. And so it was like, I think it was just, like, to close out the cycle. So, like, then her husband was like, no, I'm okay with you guys. Like, I really am. Like, and so, like, when they moved to a different place in Kansas City, because she couldn't afford where she was, so it was, like, income based, which is fine. We helped them move, but, like, they didn't. Like, she was yelling at her husband the whole time, and he was, like, struggling, and I was worried he was gonna have, like, seizures and stuff, because, like, he was very, like, like, very epileptic, you know, and so, like, but she was yelling at him and everything. It was just bad. I think she had, like, some negative energy and entity or something from her abusive ex, because, like, he was fine until, like, a coworker of his, her ex, like, touched him, and it was weird, that's all it takes, and, like, after that, he was, like, super abusive, so I think she has that same fucking entity or something. I don't know, it was weird, because, like, she was never like that, like, never, no. This is part 8 of my queer story. At this point, I'm, like, done. I'm tired of talking about it, but at the same time, I'm not done with the story, so I'm getting there. Okay, so we were helping her move, and she was just mean to her husband, and, like, I get it, she was probably, like, stressed. And then, like, the thing is, like, her son that she had with that guy that she left me for, he was always really sweet to me. And then during the move, like, my hair was shorter, and, like, I had it, like, up, you know, like, and he was like, you have baby hair. Like, he was, like, really mean to me, and I was like, dude, something's off. Like, this is weird. Like, he was, like, hurting my feelings, and he's, like, only not even, like, he wasn't even 6, I don't know how old he was. He was young, but it's like, really? Like, he was, like, really pissing me off, like, and my best friend my best friend, he was my husband at the time, he was like having to do all the moving and everything and like moving all the big stuff, and they were just like not doing much of anything. And I get it, it's overwhelming to move, but I don't know, they didn't have the U-Haul for very long, so we had to hurry up. And then when we got done with that, we stayed for like a couple of nights, I think. And I gave her some of my dream catchers that my mom made. She bought, I think she bought one. Yeah, a couple of them or something. And these dream catchers never gave me any issues. They didn't have any weird energy attached. No, none at all. Like, no. But the weird thing is like, when we stayed there, I stayed up in one of the rooms with her, and her husband was in the other room. And so, like, mine was downstairs and on the couch. He had some sleep paralysis, weird, crazy bullshit happened to him, and it was really weird. And it was just really weird. And then the next night she's like, I want to sleep with my husband and I was like, okay, here we go with this again, because he can't give me just 2 days with, like, y'all can't, you can sleep together anytime, like. And so, like, and also the next day, it was like the next day, so I had to sleep downstairs with mine in the couch or whatever, which is fine, I guess, The thing is like the next day, like, she had this incense that she's like, I want to light this. And at the time I was like super sensitive to things. You know how when you're going through spiritual awakening, you can get sensitive, like you're energetically sensitive to anything, like, really. So you have to be like, anything can like make you like go into like a anxiety or panic attack or something, like it just affects your energy because you're still like, you're awakening and like you have to try so hard to ground. And I still wasn't very good at grounding, and I mean, when you're going through awakening, it's hard to stay grounded sometimes. So like, at certain times, it's like you're going through like a huge awakening, and that's where I was. And I was still kind of coming out of it, because I don't know, I was still going through a lot of shadow work and everything. It was a really tough year. Well, for everybody, honestly, for that 2020 was a tough year for everybody. But I was also going through like a huge awakening and like a lot of shadow work and like a lot of alone, like it just. But so like, I didn't know how I would react to the incense, because it was like a money incense, and so I was like, I don't know how I'll react, but maybe don't light it, because I don't know. She's like, well, she was basically like, exposure therapy. She's like, well, you never know if you don't try, so let's light it. So she lit it, and I had like I'm pretty sure it was a psychic attack. Because I highly doubt that incense is gonna do that to somebody. I'm pretty sure it was a psychic attack. Just like that night before with my best friend, it was a psychic attack from her fucking entity or whatever she has attached to her. I'm just saying, because it was never like that with her before, ever. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, that concludes that, and then I stopped talking to her after the move. Like, there was another girl during that time, like before me and her were talking like that, got together again or tried it, that I followed her on TikTok on here, and then like, she knew I was married and everything, and she was like, not quite sure she's not really for open relationships or polyamory, but she couldn't help her feelings for me, I guess, I don't know. And I don't know, I feel like she led me on, because like, she was very romantic too. Like, she would be like saying like, I was reading this book and to my daughter, and I like said your name, like Serendipity, and like it made her blush and stuff, and I don't know, it was just like really cute stuff. And then like, she had sent me $30 to spoil myself, basically, and she was really sweet. But we never actually dated. But she would get jealous. Like, I had a roommate, one of my ex-best friends, the one that my best friend still talks to, and like, actually, I had a dream about her and her ex best friend, I don't know, they're off and on. The ones that like gave me a lot of trauma. Anyways, I've talked about it, but I had a dream about them the other night and trying to cause psychic attack shit again. It wasn't like a nightmare. Not like the renal failure thing that I had last night, but like, because I'm bad about going to the bathroom sometimes, because like I have to like, it's hard to get off this chair. Stuff like that. Like, plus, anyways. Yeah, so that other person was get jealous of me hanging out with my friend, and who was my roommate at the time. And I think my friend was actually into me. Like, she had told me when we first met that she was, like, but she told me, like, a few years later. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Expired crush, because I liked you too. But she was like, because you're married, I didn't do anything. Like, because she's not polyamorous either, and she's just strictly monogamous. Like, doesn't want to share anybody, and, you know, that's okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna blame you for that. So, like, yeah, I think she liked me then too, and I don't know, maybe she was like scared, but she really seemed like she wanted, like, our connection was so deep, like it was like a really good, I don't know, it was just crazy. Like, there was a time we took full moon pictures, and I don't know how my best friend, like, well, he was my husband at the time, how he responded. He was like, I didn't know he meant, why aren't you guys together? But he said it in a way like, you guys, your bond is so, like, strong. Like, it's just so beyond the physical or something. He's like, so later, years later, I don't know. He's like, yeah, that's what I meant by that. Like, okay, well, you do it. I didn't know that's what you meant. You just said it in a really different way. And I didn't know. Like, she was like, I was like, my friend that was our roommate, I guess the other person I was talking to probably picked up on it, like, you know, because that's why she was jealous. I was like, there's nothing going on, I don't know, like, I don't know what you mean, like, we're just friends. And then she stopped talking to me, but I guess, like, she was actually, it turned out later, got with this other girl about the same time we were talking, so it's like, because she was like, oh, I don't think I can handle, like, I want to have more kids, and I want to be married again, and blah, 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 like, I was like, okay, I understand. But it was hard for me, because, like, I really liked her. I think recently I did like another girl, but that's not I don't like her like that anymore. Like, she's pretty, you know, but, like, she's just, I can't, it's just, that would just be a trauma bond that I ain't doing it. Because, like, whenever she's talking to a dude or whatever, she stops talking to me. I'm like, bitch, we're not doing this. I ain't doing this again. I'm not going to do those cycles again. You could go do that with somebody else. In fact, I am very close to blocking you, because I can't stand, like, your energy's bothering me. Like, you're too immature. Like, you're older than me, and I get trauma that can do that to you, but we're just not aligned. So, if she don't pay attention to my stuff until it's convenient for her, or, like, if she wants me to, or, like, she'll only message, here, like this video, like, okay, well, can you like some of mine? It's not a one way, like, no. And she don't tell dudes off, they always all over her, like, I don't know, it's just, we're at different places. Part 9 of my queer story, God help. I talk too much, but it's like, there's just so much to say. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so. The roommate that I had at the time, that was my close friend and everything, I guess she probably did like me. I think she was just scared, like, she's been hurt a lot and everything, I don't know. She didn't have very much experience with women, with being with girls or whatever, and doesn't really trust them. And I don't blame her, because of the best friend she has off and on or whatever. Yeah. But she was showing signs like she was more into me, like, when we were first friends in the beginning. Although she would take me, she was very romantic in a way. Like, I think she was trying to hide it, but like, I kind of wonder how she would have been if like we actually got a chance to date. But I wonder sometimes, not like very often. Like, I'm wondering right now because I'm like, but I will never open that door again. Mm-mm. Because okay, when we first met through another friend, her off and on again friend or whatever, who's into some dark shit. Okay, just that's all I'm gonna say. That's why I don't want nothing to do with either one of them, because like the dark shit keeps her going back to her, and I don't know. The wind's like confirmation or something. I don't know, but anyways, so when we met in 2016, we hung out a lot, and like there was a time she was like she came over and made some Indian tacos, Native American, because she's like part Native American, and I was pregnant with my youngest at the time, and it was hard for me to eat, and there was something in my house like preventing me from eating, trying to unalive me and my baby. Something dark. Anyways, I'm not going into that. I'm just saying, like, she tried to help me out, and like, you know, she felt it. That's why she didn't want to be inside my house. When she'd come over, fucking neighbors. I don't know what's going on over there, but anyways, she'd come over and like hang out. We'd hang out outside, or like we'd leave. Anyways, like, she was pretty romantic. Anyways, like, she would make sure she'd buy me something to drink or all the time, and then like there was time she took me out to a little picnic at the lake. It was cute. Took a picture of me. So it's like the signs were there. I felt it, but like she just would deny it, which is understandable. I get it. It's scary and everything. We have the same Venus signs, which is funny. Actually, same Mars and Venus signs. So like the synastry was like the compatibility was like there. But it just wasn't supposed to happen. Just supposed to be friends, I guess. And then yeah. But when we were roommates in she's also another one of the friends that came to see me, but she came with another friend back in 2019. She came in with another friend, but didn't stay with me. Like, she probably would have stayed with me if they didn't have that friend. And then another friend, which was, I was talking to her to try to be with her, but I kind of think she was trying to get to my best friend, because they had been together years ago for like 3.5 years or something. He took her V card back then, but yeah, that was a mess. Like, she came to visit, and she's like, she said that I was hung up on my ex, but I wasn't at the time, but she kept texting her ex. Like, it was just a mess, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, that was just a blip. Me, back then, one of my love languages was gift giving, so if I was into you, you were gonna get gifts. I can still kind of be that way, but I'm not as like, here's a gift, love me type, you know what I'm saying? So I am not as much, because also that in abusive relationships would happen to me. I'd be given gifts as a form of love bombing. So like I kind of adapted that, but I don't have that anymore. So that's why I don't as much. I don't really have feelings for people that often anymore. Like, I'm picky. So also 2020 ruined that because of all the bullshit that happened during that time. So I'm like, I'm even more picky because, yeah. I want to say, yeah. Anyways, I'm not talking about that. I want to just keep talking about the queer stuff. That other one that was my best friend's ex, we weren't talking for that long. And that's just before I became friends with my ex. again and everything. So I ended up getting her a new phone with taxes and stuff because hers was crappy and everything. And then it was not working, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? Because like I feel bad because like, but I think she eventually got them to get it to work or something, or they sent her another one or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so those are the only people that came to see me, and like I would always say stuff online like people don't come to see me, but I felt like it's not that like I also wasn't as grateful, but you know at the same time it was like hard to be because there was like all these trauma bonds. So I learned to be grateful and be a better friend and pick better friends, I guess. You know, because now if I see some bullshit, I'm like, bye, goodbye, or I'll distance myself. It just depends on the thing. Okay, like I do have a select good few like really good friends, and like they're just we don't talk all the time, but that's fine. We all have our own lives, and I used to need that like constant communication, but now I can't even take it. Now I'm like, okay, talk to me when you feel up to it, when we both have the spoons. Yeah, anyways, back to the ex-roommate friend. Yeah, she started showing even more signs when we lived together, because like she would come visit me, and then like her living situation was terrible. She was living at a place that had no heat because she couldn't like she owed the gas, and the gas company was like, oh, I don't give a fuck, you know, like she couldn't even payments. I don't know. It's just like a really fucked up situation, and like her landlord was trash. She woke up one time by being bit by a mouse on the finger. I was like, no, you're not staying over there anymore. You're moving in with me because I can't. I'm not. There's heat here. There's none of that shit. None of those mice or fucking roaches over there. Nothing. So you're staying here. You and your kids are staying here. And it was a 2-bedroom, but they all slept out on the couches. I don't know. Like my cat stuff was in the other room, but they could have stayed in there if they wanted to. You know, like I don't know. And we all shared a bathroom. And yeah, but like we hung out all the time. We drove around and everything, and one time I dyed her hair, and that was the time I was still talking to the other person, the other girl. And I was like, I was washing her hair. She never had me dye her hair before. Like she isn't one that like she doesn't like people touching her. She doesn't trust people. I'm like that, but like she's even worse. She doesn't like people touching her that she doesn't trust and know. Like that she has to trust. Like even if you're friends with her, like you still can't really like. But she started letting me like. So that's why I was like, okay, what's this? Anyways, hold on, let me get to the. This is part 10 of my core story. I don't know if I think part 9 is like upload. I don't know what's going on. TikTok is over my shit right now, as I just keep hitting record. Okay, well that friend my roommate or whatever, I dyed her hair, and I was washing her hair, and like I accidentally pulled her hair. She's like, "That's okay. I liked it. I like it. I like my hair being pulled." I'm like, "What? What's this? What? What does she mean?" Like, okay, it's funny because like my twin would ask my best friend what I meant when I was talking. You know, like, he would message him like, "What does she mean by this?" And so it's funny because I would do that to him unknowingly that I was him until like, and now I know, and so I'd be like, "What does she mean by this? What does that mean?" So like we do that to each other. It's funny. I think I don't know if he did that to me, but he did that to somebody else. But like it's funny because we're like that. Anyways, like yeah. So I'd be like, what the fuck does she mean by that? Is she hitting it like flirting with me? You know, it's like weird. So yeah, there was a time she had like really bad back pain from her cycle or whatever because she has endometriosis or whatever, and I was rubbing her back. She let me rub her back, and I was like, I don't know, because it's weird, because like she's not like that. Like she doesn't like being touched at all by anybody. Like so, she must have been trusting me and like into me. I don't know. And I don't know. Nothing ever happened because like there would be times I'd be like, like, well, we'd sit by each other. I'd sit on her bed, like her couch that she'd sleep on beside her each night, and we'd watch something on her phone, like really close to each other. And I don't know, it was just, I don't know. And then I did have feelings for her. Like, she's spiritual too. Like, she said she saw somebody watching over me, which is funny. I don't have that hung up, but it was part of it. Looked just like one of the things that I think I still have that. Yeah, it's like a lady, like a lady in white or whatever. I could show you eventually. I think I might have showed it before, but it's like she thought it was me standing up there. It was like when she was going to the bathroom, and she glanced in my room and thought she saw me standing there and was trying to talk to me, but it was like somebody standing there, like watching over me. And yeah, but and then like there's times she stayed with her sister. Sometime like we went over there to see her, or I went over there to see her, and like I was sitting next to her, and like I grabbed her hand and she let me hold it for a little bit, and then like she would like just like, I don't know, maybe she just gets scared and I don't know. It's like, okay, gotta let go. And I did that. We went to, I think it was Kohl's one time, and I would grab her hand and everything. I was like, and she'd tell me about guys that she'd hang out with, and I was like, do you push them away too when they'd be trying to touch on you? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so she's doing the same thing to me. That has to mean, like, but it's like, I think she's like wanted to like, you know, the body keeps a score, so like her body's all, you know, I understand. I can get that way. I can be that way too. But like she's even like more traumatized, like more so than me. Like I can be like, I miss touch and cuddles and cinch, you know, like whatever. But I can't just let anybody, and I have to trust you. And it's hard to trust people, and especially when the ones that were closest to you and everything. So I don't know, but her and I stopped talking. Why did we? Okay, because she moved in with another friend, and then she just stopped like messaging me and as much, or hardly saw her, and it was still in the same town, so it was like, oh. And then I eventually was like, okay, fine, we'll be friends, I guess. And then I thought, like, when I moved to Manhattan, I was like, maybe I'll reach out to her again because I miss her and everything, and maybe, I don't know. I was trying to see why she's going over that direction. She's gonna get up there. You think that fat cat can jump up there? She can, watch. Maybe. She wants to play. You need another kitty to play with. Poor kitty. Or some toys or something. Yeah. Okay, so. But then I saw her like heart react something of my youngest daughter's dad's post on his Facebook, and I was like, no. And so I was like, nope, never again. And it was like something about him not having to pay child support anymore, which, okay, but why are you on his, like, I don't know. And then when I talked to my, like, and then like my best friend is like became friends with her again, and I was like, okay. And at first I was like, I tried to tell him how I feel, but he just doesn't get it, like, just doesn't get it at all. So I just leave it alone and just kept distancing myself from him and more. And I eventually am gonna not be in his life anymore. So I'm working up to it. That's the interest. If I'm distancing myself, like, that's the thing you have to worry about with me. I know my worth now with anybody and everybody, and I will cut anybody and everybody off. And how long it takes, it just depends on how fucking deep of a connection we had. She's back there playing with something, I don't know. So, like, yeah, I don't know. So, if to me, I felt like it was a betrayal that, okay, you can talk to her, because, like, I just feels like a betrayal. Like, all this time you understood where I was coming from about, like, that type of shit, but then now you turn around and do that, like, what? And I was told by somebody that he would switch up on you, but anyways, like, but he did help me, like, that was, like, one of the most healthy relationships up until then, so, that I've been in, so, I think I sometimes try to flirt with him just to fucking fuck with his head, and I try not to be that way, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck you, I can't stand your ass. Like, I never had that feeling for him. I never had that splitting on him, but now yesterday I was like, I fucking hate you. I didn't say that to him, but I was like, fuck you. I'm like, I gotta hurry up, and, because there's also physical ties, you know, like, he's on my car insurance and, like, whatever. As soon as I get myself more established financially or whatever, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I already feel better. I already feel more at peace, less stressed, except for, like, it's hard to rest here sometimes, but it's still less stress. I'm still able to be more in the moment and not be like, oh my god, how am I gonna get this? How am I gonna pay this? Now I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. I've been paying for my own food, except for a couple times. Like, my mom gave me 100 once, like, a couple weeks ago, and then I think he gave me some a few days after. Yeah, so now this became something else, but yeah, he helped me realize, oh, like, in 2020, I'll finish this. In 2020, I started being like, because he was like, I think I'm 9, like, he was questioning what his gender is. I'm not quite sure what he is. He's still, I think, still trying to figure it out. I think he's, like, gender fluid or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm not, just a woman, you know, so I was like, I'll go by non-binary, so I was experimenting with, like, different looks in 2020, and there are some TikToks you might see I reposted or something. I'll make another one, damn it. Okay, I'm back. I had to let all the rest of them load and everything. This is my queer story, part 11. I hope it's the last one. But yeah, 2020 is when I, like, in the summer, yeah, is when I started being like, okay, maybe I'm non-binary, because my best friend, with his questioning, it made me like, okay, maybe, wait, that's interesting. I didn't know that was all possible. That's cool. I think I'll take this. But I was like, maybe I am non-binary. And so then, I experimented with looks and stuff. So, and then I was like, for a while, I was like, okay, it didn't quite feel right. And then, recently, which was maybe a year, probably 2 years ago, I was like, okay, but I don't quite feel non-binary. It just feels too neutral, and I think I was stepping more into my femininity, and I didn't do that before so much, and I don't know. And then I was like, okay, so I don't mind being, I did mind at first, and now I don't mind being called a woman. And then, because there's stuff to unpack with that, and then I was like, what is the term that would just be like, my gender is like queer, like, it's just queer, like, it's just, because, like, I identify as queer just because it's easier, because I'm polyamorous, pansexual, and I'm also demisexual, because, like, I have to have a connection, like a deep connection, or a connection to have, like, be sexually attracted to you, or at least have an ongoing, like, for it to actually be there, or, like, yeah, energy. I can be, like, sexually turned on by energy, like somebody's energy they're putting off or whatever, but it's not gonna be lasting unless I have a connection with them. So, like, and there was a time I was like, you can be more than one label on the ACE spectrum, which I might be, because, like, sometimes, like, I think it's called, there's also 2 terms for it, I think, but I think it's called agiosexual, which means, like, it's more fun to think about and fantasize about than actual partaking, and I'm like that a lot of the time. So there is a term for where you identify as more than one ACE label, and it's called Ace Flux. So I did identify as like that for a while, but like to me, I feel like it's just demisexual because it just feels right for me. So, but in general, I just go, I'm queer because it's so much easier just to say. So I was like, well, what about my gender is weird? It's not really. And then I was like hearing inside my my inner self just like, that's gender queer. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what that means. And so that's what I am. I'm gender queer, and that's what I'm, and it fits. It feels right. So, and I did go. I used to be like she, her, they, them, but I'm like, that doesn't feel too right to me anymore. So I'm just she, her. So, but you can call me they, them if you really wanted to. But like, yeah. So I guess that's probably all of my story, all of my queer story. I don't know. I guess that is, but like, yeah. I'm more in my feminine for the most part. Feminine's, because I was like, what's that? Like, where, like, yeah, I'm born a woman, or like, whatever, but like, assigned female at birth, but I feel like I'm not very womanly. What is it? What is the gender that's like, I want to be more, I want to look more like a woman, like whatever. But it's like you just have to step outside of like what society says. But I don't know. Like I wanted to look more feminine because like I didn't really grow up around feminine, which is fine. That's okay. But like I wanted to be that. But so I'm just genderqueer. So yeah, that's all. That's my story. There's probably more. There was another girl. There was like my other ex best friend. Her sister and I were like I had a crush on her for off and on for years, and then we were like something like friends with benefits type thing. We just made out in 2015. So like, and then like in 2018, and I think like randomly sometimes whenever we see each other. But yeah, I don't talk to her anymore. She's toxic. She actually is toxic. And I don't talk, and I'm not friends with her sister anymore. Me and her sister, which was my best friend, one of my best friends, we had a crush on each other for years, and then like we actually made out one week, and I went to visit her in 2013 when her man that I don't know if she's with him. I don't think so, but anymore. But she was with him for almost 10 years. But when he was away at a job, like in a different state, there was that. I don't know. So I've had like my experiences, but I never really had like a healthy queer relationship. So aside from my best friend and I, but like it's not so healthy anymore. Like it's just not aligned, and he has his own lessons and I do, and so like honestly it's just crazy because like I think I'm gonna make another video about like life update shit, or I could just tag it on here. It doesn't matter, but I'll just leave it at this.